Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Think Business Live. Looking forward to talking with Steve D. Sims again. Steve, it's been a couple years since you've been on the show. We talked about your last book when you were on BLUEFISHING. It was a great talk. And we're here today to talk about your new book. And what I love about the name of your new book, it's called Go for Stupid, The Art of Achieving Ridiculous Goals. You create really ridiculous, what some would maybe say are not ridiculous, but just, whatever anybody can dream of, you can make it happen. And so let's talk about kind of just the title of your book, right? What does Go for Stupid mean to you?
Well, the beautiful thing is you've given everything away already. You don't know it, but you have. You see, I owned the concierge firm for like 25 years. I don't really do much of that now. I still do it for a few clients. Predominantly, I'm coaching, speaking, doing all of that palaver. But here was the thing. People would come to us and they'd be like, hey, I want to do something with Formula One. Oh, I want to get 2 front row tickets to a concert. Oh, I'd love to, go and have a great meal in Florence. Now, those were the requests. And funny enough, I think this is more appropriate today. So for everyone, please pay attention to this bit. In the old days, people used to give us a request. If we'd satisfied that request, we'd completed a transaction. Today, we're in a transaction society where we have less and less conversations. Now, when someone would come to us with something, because we wanted to show how wonderful and impactful we were, therefore gain that loyalty, we had to try and take what they wanted and add some sparkle to it. Yeah. And how many people turn around, whether it be your business goals, whether it be your relationship goals, your standards, whatever it is, and you settle for what you feel you can achieve. And then there's this word, the Voldemort word, impossible. Now, I don't give a shit how you bandage that up. I am possible. I make the impossible possible. You're kidding yourself. The second you say that word, you've given it fuel. You've given it power. So what we used to do, and you've given this away, and you'll acknowledge this now, I'm sure, we would take the request when someone says, hey, I want 2 brilliant tickets to a concert. We would literally sit around the office, and we had an office in Palm Beach at the time, and we would sit around the office, and we would go, okay, we got this request. How can we make this stupid? How can we make this laughable? How can we make this ridiculous? And we would go for that. Now, here's the thing that happens. If I say to you, hey, I'm going to do this, let's break through the impossible, there's no change in your face. But when you go for something that's stupid, and you did it every time you brought that word up, you smiled, which activates the 5-year-old curiosity in you to go, okay. And we do this with business goals. Okay, your business goal is, $1 million a year. How can we make that stupid? Make it 7.5. We know you're going to fail, but you're going to hit 5. So that's what we would do. We would always go and take something. Bear in mind, experience-wise, I've had people that wanted to have a dining experience in Florence. How can we make that stupid? We shut down the entire Accademia, the Galleria Museum in Florence, set up a table of 6 at the feet of Michelangelo David, and then for shits and giggles for some dinner time entertainment, I brought in Andrea Bocelli to serenade them while they ate their pasta. I took the goal I was given, and I went for something stupid, laughable. And you don't always achieve it, but when you do get something, it is mathematically, massively way past what you would have settled for if you had gone for what you could achieve.
I love it. Let's expand on that, Steve. Because as we're recording this, it's end of the year 2022. We're moving into 2023. I believe even with everything happening in the world, the rules of the game have changed a little bit. You can still grow your business. You can still, you can still do great things. Maybe you got to do a little bit more of this and a little bit more of this and a little bit less of this, et cetera, et cetera. But, when you're talking about the art of achieving ridiculous goals, let's start and talk about the mindset, right? Let's talk about the mindset of just saying, okay, the game's going to be a little bit different. Let's say in this example, 2023. And so because the game is going to be a little bit different, this is now how I have to play the game as an individual, as a business, etc. So let's just ground it in mindset.
I absolutely love people that are listening, Jon set it up so beautifully, and he's so smart with this. And here's the thing. You say that things are different, and how we play things are different, and how we play the game. Here's the stupidity. The second we enter into a period of distortion or distraction, which is what we're in now.
Correct.
Are we in a recession? Are we in a depression? Who knows? We're in a moment of confusion and distortion. And we have many of those every decade that go through. And we're in another one. But what's the first thing people do during those periods? They stop playing.
Right. They go to the side. They go to too many people go to the sidelines. So that's the time to triple down. Right.
You look, you're a business coach. You know this as well as I do. When you're in a moment like this, two things happen. One, you have to stay your course. You have to continue to play your game. You don't let off the throttle. You don't settle back on your marketing. You don't settle back on your branding. You don't settle back on your communication with your clients. And here's the beautiful thing. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, pre-COVID, when the world was rosy and we were all making money hand over fist, there was a lot of noise. There were a lot of gurus, these fake gurus. There were a lot of Insta coaches, add water and bang, you're a coach. There was all that shit going on. The second it gets a bit uncomfortable, they run for the sidelines. Yet whatever you're doing today gets more recognition, more notoriety, more distribution because you're actually showing up and playing the game. So the bottom line of it is you get more traction, more visibility, more eyeballs by doing what you're doing now than if you do what everyone else is going to do. And as you say, sit on the bench and wait for the game to be over.
Correct. Right. You got, when I'm talking to clients and I work with solopreneurs to Fortune companies, I always say, this is the time to double down, triple down, quadruple down, and get hyper focused on your messaging. And I remember, many years ago in the 2008 recession, thinking I'm not participating in this recession. So now we talk about mindset, right? And we're talking about staying in the game, not on the sidelines. So now let's talk about, so we've just taken the listener to, from hesitation in this adjustment market to realizing things are always moving and adjusting. Now it's time to set goals, but now we're going to take it to ridiculous goals. So now take me to the end of ridiculous, and then let's reverse engineer it.
I love that aspect. Me and you should drink whiskey. We got a lot of the same ideas.
I love whiskey. I love.
There you go. Me and you. We make sure happen.
Steve, I don't drink a lot, but when I do, I drink whiskey and bourbon on the rocks. That's my ultimate favorite. Yeah.
We should get together.
Yeah.
So here's I'm going to give you what I do with some of my coaching clients. Okay. So here's one of the things that I do just to get you in the right mindset. Get a piece of paper, and at the top of that piece of paper, and I love doing things in crayons or Sharpies. It opens up different things in your mind. Yeah, you don't get scared.
This is what I use. Yeah.
Bingo. If you're writing
best pen ever, a big 4-color pen. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. If you're writing something in purple, then it allows you to be more creative. Okay. And that's what we need today. Creativity.
Yeah.
So get a piece of paper, get a funky pen, and at the top of it, whenever you're listening to this podcast, write 5 years into the future. So we're in the arse end of 2022. All right. So write down 2027 in big letters across the top. All right. Then underneath that, write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No space underneath those numbers.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this is what I want you to do. I want you with your funky pen to write down a stupid goal. I want to make $10 million. And here's the key. Write it down. I want to make $10 million and then shut up. Pause. Yeah. Let it saturate. Let it simmer and percolate. But also what you're doing is you're shutting up that little devil in the back of your head going, are you nuts? Are you mad? You can't. So throw down your first stupid goal. Shut up. Let it simmer. Second goal. I want a better relationship.
Wait, I want to pause you for 1 second because I want to give a thought on that. I think community, it's because I talk about a lot what you're talking about right now, Steve. And I think one of the things that's also really important about that is when you put it on paper, when you have a routine of actually writing it down almost every day for the rest of your life, or at least 30 days, you put it out to the universe, and the universe can then do its work to start moving things towards you to make it happen. And for those of you who feel like it may sound ridiculous to talk to other people, they're this, that, and the other, and da 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 da, it's like you just got to kind of put it out there. I just set a 25-year goal to make $1 billion. And I don't necessarily know exactly how I'm going to do it yet, because technology isn't even invented yet to help me get there. So it doesn't have to make sense, but you got to start right. I'm just echoing what you said. You got to start putting it on paper so you can connect with it as a physical, real thing.
I'm never far away from a pad and pen. And although we have everything digital around, the second you write it down, and notice what I said.
Me too.
Write it down.
I'm always like, love it.
I'm in the studio, same thing with you, fella.
Yeah.
The second you write it down, also say it. So you've done number one, you've written your goal down, you're saying it as you write down. Shut up, don't allow the devil to speak.
Correct.
Number two. Do number two. Do that for all 5. So on that piece of paper, and this has to be done quickly, all right? Yeah. So you've got the 5-year in front of you, and then you've got those 5-year goals that are stupid. Allow yourself stupid. You're on your own. You're sitting in the back of the room, maybe on the toilet, whatever. No one's around. Dare to go for something stupid with no goal. Don't say, I want a new blue T-shirt, Get stupid with your goals. And this is where it gets funky. You go back up to where it says 2027, the 5-year in advance of whatever date you're listening to on this. Rub it out and put next year. And then you do this. What would have had to have happened in 11 months' time for me to hit my 12-month goal? In 10 months, in 9 months, in 8. Yeah. And you walk it back. And here's the thing. You may not hit the stupid goals. Like, I've gone for so many things in my life. Ridiculous, stupid, obscene goals, and I have failed and got 80% where people have gone, oh my God, how did you get? Now, here's the daft thing.
Yeah.
I failed, but I failed up.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. And let's even simplify that even more. You take the 2027 goal, you make it today's goal, and then you reverse engineer it by the quarter, by the month, by the week, by the day. You can do it by the hour. So then all of a sudden, if you're just doing all the little things on a daily basis, your probability of getting there is much higher.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Absolutely. Huge. Just
because I think
daring.
Correct. I just want to say this too, because many people who are listening right now have watched or seen or read The Secret, and I'm all about manifesting, but some people think, and some people say this to me, well, like I'm manifesting it, but at the end of the day, they're not doing any work to actually get it right. It's not going to be delivered via Amazon Prime. You've got to still do the work. Talk about that, Steve.
One of my little memes I love to put out there is that hope is a shit marketing strategy. Yeah. Put it out. I manifested it. I put a picture up on my vision board.
Yeah.
And it hasn't happened yet. So one of the things I talk about, and funny enough, I even talk about it in this book. So there's a shallow plug. But I talk about the diet book complex. Okay. And one of the things I do whenever I'm kind of like doing any of my coaching or speakeasy events is I say to people, how many people here have ever lost weight by buying a diet book? How many of us have actually got richer by buying an investment book or subscribing to an investment? How many of us have actually been able to, fix the car or got the car better by buying the book on the maintenance? No one. You get slimmer not by buying the book, but by actioning it. Actually getting slimmer is nothing more than a byproduct of the actions you take. Getting wealthier, getting smarter, getting fitter, getting richer, learning skills. Those are a byproduct of the actions. So the actions always start with, hey, maybe buying the book, reading a chapter, and then actioning it. I openly tell people, do not buy my book thinking it's going to give you the answers to the world. It's going to give you ideas and roadmaps of what you need to then get off your fat ass and do. So I'm all about the action. In fact, I did a quote over the weekend on my Instagram. I put on there, my I can was greater than my IQ. I know many, many, many really, really smart poor people.
Yeah.
And let's be serious. We also know some incredibly rich people that ain't the sharpest tools in the shed, but they action something.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they take action. No, I love everything that you're talking about. It's great. I love it. I love it. So your book just came out. It's available on Amazon.com. It's been out for about a little over a month. Yeah. So give one more takeaway of something that you wrote in there that was the biggest lesson that you learned along your path.
Actually, funny enough, I learned, you can also grab it at goforstupid.com. I learned that our problem wasn't today. It was amplified today. I thought to myself that the problem we got today with communication and daring to be different and daring to be laughed at, I thought that was a today problem. But when I started looking into history, Edison, Henry Ford, Walt Disney, Steve Jobs, all of these people were publicly ridiculed for their ideas. I remember a quote from Henry Ford that he said, if I listened to the people, I'd have made faster horses.
Right.
So the whole point is today, if people are laughing at you, you're actually on the right track.
Yeah.
The downside with today is we've got socials, we've got videos, everyone wants to laugh at us because bearing in mind, 85% of the population work for 15%, but that 85% make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And openly laugh at us.
Yeah. You know, the Edisons, the Vanderbilts, the Rockefellers, all pioneers in a time when there was nothing to look to see what was in front of you.
Yeah.
They really had no choice but to take something and be true pioneers. Today, we can look at a lot of data and we can look at people in front of us to see what's working, what's not, beta tests, etc. Still use our instincts and our gut. But I love tapping into the Vanderbilts and the Rockefellers, and those are those are great. I just did a college tour with my daughter. We went to Vanderbilt, which is the university that Vanderbilt started, and it was cool just kind of being there. That on something he did with his wealth. That probably somebody today, if they were to think, well, in 27 years I'm going to make $3 billion and start a university, it seems out of reach, but not really. Not really.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Here's where we get precocious. Do you remember when we were kids and we wanted to be millionaires?
Yeah.
And then you got to your first million and you were like, shit, I'm still broke.
Yeah.
I got 3 kids in private school. I've got a house with a mortgage. I'm thinking, the sun's not sunny every day. I can't retire on $1 million. If you're living in Manhattan, you're lucky if you bought a toilet.
Right.
It's just ridiculous.
I remember years ago hearing Jim Rohn speak, and he said, when I had a goal to make $1 million, and then once I made $1 million, and so all my mentors were millionaires, then I became a millionaire, and then my mentors became billionaires. And so it was great. All right, quick speed round for you, Steve.
Yes.
You're an author, but what's a book that's had a big impact on your life?
Anything by Jay Abraham, but a book that I really love at the moment is Trust Me, I'm Lying by Ryan Holiday. I think I've read it 10 times, but I love
Ryan Holiday's work.
Yep.
I'm going to check that out. All right, good. All right. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received?
From my dad, a bricklayer and not the sharpest tool in the shed. He said, no one's ever drowned by falling in the water. They drown by staying there.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's my daddy.
Yeah, I love that. Finish this sentence. One thing every business person listening to this podcast right now can do to be a little bit more stupid is?
Try.
Yeah.
Easy. The first time you do anything, I have a mantra in my house and in my head. The first time you try anything, it'll be shit. Okay. Once you've given yourself that understanding, then get going and then get good.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Steve, always a pleasure. I had a blast the first time you were on the show years ago. I wish you all the best in everything that you're doing. You do some really cool, great things. Think Community. Steve can be found at SteveDSims, SIMS.com. And his book, can be found at Go for Stupid, right? GoForStupid.com or
Correct.
Amazon.
Yep.
You know, we're recording this at the end of 2023. And I think something that is really, really important is that everybody really not get bogged down with all the negative news. I'm not saying it's not a reality, but do your best to get present, set your goals, and you can really still have anything you want. You just have to know what the rules of your game are and then execute better than anybody else. Steve, this has been an absolute pleasure connecting with you again. Stay on for a minute. I want to catch up a little bit more. Think Community, stevedsims.com, or go to Amazon or Go for Stupid. And if you need me, you can always reach me at jondwoskin.com. Thanks, everybody. Steve, thanks so much.